Yes. So for my fourth project, I made an app called Policy Watch. Um, so basically, the motivation behind it is that like every week there are hundreds of bills that move through Congress, and tracking them by just like reading all of them themselves is virtually impossible. Um, but there's a lot that goes into it between like the funding behind it and like all the sponsors and lobbyists pressuring them to pass certain bills. Um, so keeping track of all of that is just nearly impossible. So what I created is an autonomous agentic system that does this all for you in real time. So pulled up on the screen, I have the dashboard that loads when you open the app. Um, and immediately what you see is we have a context graph, so you can see like these are all bills that pertain to energy and the environment. Um, and then, like for example, certain bills are linked to like multiple different sectors. So you have like this one, for example, is linked to technology and energy. You could just see how they all relate. Um, and then there's another bubble for just like government operations. Um, so this just clearly shows like the different sectors that each bill that's being proposed relates to. And then you see the legislative pulse, which uh, is pretty much just a feed of all the real-time data from congress.gov of all the bills that are currently being proposed. Um, and this refreshes every day. So if there's new bills that are being proposed more recently, they'll load up. But Congress only meets every now and then. So some of these you'll see are from a few weeks back. Um, but we could just go ahead and click on one of them to see what it does. So this first screen, the overview, shows the other bills that's connected to, the date that the bill was actually proposed to Congress and the current status of it, and then you can see the current proponents of the bill. So for this one, expressing support for the designation of the month of April 2026 as Parkinson's Awareness Month, we see that these are all the Congress people who are really backing the bill. Then I create a system to like diagnose how likely it is that this bill is going to be passed, and it gives you a little synopsis of it. This bill is non-controversial and serves as a public health purpose, which typically garners bipartisan support. Awesome. Then from here, there's an intelligence tab. This is the like money going into backing the bill. You can see the different industries that the money's coming from. And as you can see, it's still a little buggy. Like for this one, I could pause it and try to find a better example in a little bit, but you can see not working as intended. But anyway, this is kind of like a sentiment analysis tab. It shows the support from the public using it web scrapes the web for different articles and analyzes what people are really thinking about the bill. And then I'll pause here while this loads, but this generates a statement that just breaks down all the pros and cons of what passing the bill really means to the US people. So just for the sake of time, I'm not going to read through all of this, but you can see it just kind of outlines everything that's really going into the bill. So you can see like who's benefiting from it, and then the potential risks of passing the bill, and then it just offers a little quick synopsis at the end. And then from here, you could also just open the actual document for the bill on the congress.gov site. That's one of the main APIs that runs this application. Congress.gov has a good free API to use. There are other ones that go, I think I'm using 8 different APIs total. Like for this, there's one for the FEC, which is the the Federal Election Commission. So yeah, they keep track of all the funding that goes into different bills and whatnot. And then from here, there are also a few other cool cool functions to this application that I'll show off in a second. I'm just going to load it all so you guys don't have to wait. So one of the first tabs I made was just a search tab for the registry. So as you can see, if you search the term Parkinson's, it'll link you to the last page as it's showing off. And then from here, I'll also show you the brief generator tab that I created. Let me just put in a prompt and then I'll get back. I see I'm already at 5.5 minutes, so I'm not going to read the whole brief, but as you can see, if you put in, like, please generate a brief on the Parkinson's awareness bill that I was just going over. Generates a brief, quick overview, the context of it, the legislative context, and then the implications in the real world in the country. So this just dives a little bit deeper than the previous tabs I showed you do. And yeah, it just gives you a really good overview of what the bill actually means in the real world. As you can see in our comparative analysis tab, a lot of these recent proposals have very similar names, so this is just a good tool to compare what's actually different about them. So I'll hit generate a comparison and get back to you guys. So now you could just see the two bills we chose to compare, how they each impact the budget, the sectors that are impacted, how Congress plans to actually implement these changes, and the risks and key stakeholders behind this bill. And then one more thing I figured I should mention before I sign off here is I do think right now some of this is outdated, but it's just because the main API, the Congress.gov API that I've been using for most of this project, as you can see if we hit refresh data, because it's all government information, the rate limit is super low, and pretty much like the first time I hit it, it'll run perfectly, and then after that, you'll see the pop-up come up, and I'll unpause when it does, but I just get rate limited every time. Yeah, as you can see here, we got rate limited, but overall, this app just helps you stay more in the loop with stuff going on in Congress. And I know I don't really read the news as much as I should, so it's the last few weeks since I started making it, it's just helped me stay a little more informed about what's going on in Congress, and it's been fun to build and it's been fun to play around with, so I hope you guys enjoy.